This week, on the season finale of JambarTV, we'll check in with the YSU President.
Then, we look at ways you can have fun in Youngstown
and updates on the transfer portal.
We'll also take a moment to thank and say goodbye to our graduating seniors.
Hello and welcome back to JambarTV. I'm Molly Burke.
And I'm Caleb Ellison. Thank you for tuning in to the season finale of JambarTV, and our first story of the day goes to Molly.
YSU President Bill Johnson has now been at the university for a full semester. Executive producer Dylan Lux spoke to Johnson on his first spring semester and future plans for YSU.
After being inducted as Youngstown State University President on November 21st, Bill Johnson is now finishing his first semester on campus. Johnson told the Jambar in February that a main goal of his is to work with the YSU Foundation to boost enrollment. He said he's been meeting with donors both inside and outside of Ohio.
I've made several trips to Florida already on several fundraising trips. I've met with donors here locally, and we're making progress.
With fundraising as a top priority, Johnson said the university has raised over $3 million since his arrival. Johnson established the Government Affairs Office at Youngstown State as one of his first actions in the presidency. He said the office is currently overhauling the grant process.
We've only got one official grant writer in the university, one person that oversees and goes through all of that. There are literally hundreds of grant opportunities throughout the year, so we're missing a lot of opportunities. So we're going to be setting up a grant process to help bolster that process so that we can compete more favorably for those grants.
According to Johnson, YSU is in its first process with the state legislature, where the university will have to testify May 8th before the state senate about the university's capital budget.
They've told us a few things that they want to hear from us, and we're going to address those. But we're going to tell them why we need the money that we're asking for.
Most of the funding YSU is asking for is going toward the renovation of Kilcully Center. Johnson said the building is almost 60 years old and is in need of a facelift.
And it's home away from home for 11,000 students, 1,600 faculty, not to mention the people from the community that want to come in. Exactly. So, I mean, there are a lot of reasons why a comfortable, aesthetically pleasing, safe place for our students, faculty, and staff and community to engage with the university, why that is so vitally important.
Despite initial pushback, Johnson said his main goal is to bring students to YSU by making a welcoming environment for students. Reporting for JambarTV, I'm Dylan Lux.
As the semester comes to an end, plans for the 2024 spring graduation ceremony are underway. In previous years, graduation was one continuous ceremony. This year, each college will hold a separate ceremony indoors at Beagley Center, spread across 2 days. University Events Director Jackie Levisor said holding separate ceremonies works better for the growing number of graduating students.
The graduating class is getting so large that capacity in Beagley, we couldn't have one ceremony for all the graduates. We had to break it. And even doing two was getting a little, all the graduates were on the floor and, we were just running out of space.
Graduation will be held on Saturday, May 4th and Sunday, May 5th in Beagley Center. The event is not ticketed and parking on campus will be free for friends and family.
The search for a permanent provost and vice president of academic affairs for YSU is becoming more narrow. According to YSU News Center, 3 finalists have been selected. The candidates are current YSU interim provost Jennifer Pintar, as well as Allison Gill, the former provost of Lee's McRae College, and Carolyn Smith Keller, associate provost of the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. The university community will have a chance to meet the 3 candidates at upcoming open forums in the Schwabel Auditorium of Mosier Hall. Pintar at 2 p.m. April 26th, Gill at 2 p.m. April 29th, and Keller at 2 p.m. April 30th. The candidates' cover letters and CVs are available to read on the YSU app under This Week at YSU. Those who attend the forum will be able to complete a candidate feedback form.
The Dana School of Music's upcoming spring opera, Little Women, might be its last at Youngstown State University, as 2 professors have accepted voluntary separation and retirement packages and are leaving YSU after this semester. Ms. Sukyan has been a voice and opera professor at Dana for 25 years and is soon starting a new chapter elsewhere. She said she expected to teach at least 5 more years at YSU. She says she is also excited for the opera with her talented students, but this will be the first time in years the Dana School of Music performs an opera in Ford Theater at Bliss Hall and collaborates with the orchestra.
This year, I'm very excited that we have an orchestra and the opera, so that'll be in the pit. So we have 19 members of orchestra members will be playing, all students. They'll be playing. So that's a different. And we've been producing a smaller version of opera in the Spotlight Theater for the past few years. But we are going back to the Ford Theater, which is a much bigger venue, which is scary at the same time, very exciting. Yeah.
Tickets for Little Women are free for students with a YSU ID and $15 for non-students.
Mill Creek Metro Parks hosted a backyard conservation lecture event on April 17th to teach the community about the effects of native biodiversity in the valley. This was the second lecture as part of a 3-part series that covers a variety of topics, including the use of native plants in the local landscape. Zachary Felger, Education Outreach Coordinator with Mahoning Soil and Water Conservation, explains how the lectures can be beneficial.
As it all applies to us, whether we want to play a role in habitat conservation and improving habitats for various insects like butterflies, or mitigating some of the flooding issues we have throughout Mahoning County.
Those interested in the final part of the lecture series, May 15th, can register for $5 on Mill Creek Metro Parks website until May 13th.
With school coming to an end, many students are planning summer vacations to theme parks. Theme parks perform regular maintenance and inspection on all rides to ensure safety. Theme park goers can also ensure their own safety by following all posted rider safety guidelines in front of each attraction. Guests can also do simple things to make the most of their day at the park, including wearing sunscreen, staying hydrated, and downloading the park's app on their phones for mobile maps, wait times, and more.
Well, we've been having some pretty wild storms this spring so far. What do you think, Caleb?
You're right. We've gone from storms to sunshine, but most importantly, what do we have for weather this weekend for Federal Frenzy? Zonde, take it away.
We're carrying that spring weather into the weekend as there will be a mixture of rain and sun, with temps even reaching the 80s at the end of the weekend. I'll have a more detailed report after the break.
gon' push it to the limit. We gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever. When we ride, we gon' ride together. So together we ride, certified. And together we ride. We gon' push it to the limit. We gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever. When we ride, we gon' ride together. So together we ride, certified. And together we rise. We gon' push it to the limit. We gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever.
We know you hear it all the time. Why Youngstown State University? Why go to a school in the Mahoning Valley of northeastern Ohio, surprisingly beautiful as that may be? Why live on a campus that sits on the edge of the Rust Belt, historic and inspiring as that may be? In short, why choose Youngstown State? Here's why. Because when it comes to engineering, medicine, sports, business, and the skills you need to take your place in the future, we take a back seat to nobody because you can afford us, and we will afford you the opportunity to build the future you want and the life you desire. Why Youngstown State? Because we care about you, your success, and our future. Together. Youngstown State University. Now you know why.
All right, so who knows why?
I know why. For starters, I'm getting a top-tier education without the price tag. Can you say that? Engineering, sports, music, business. I can do anything here. I'm getting my hands dirty, learning what my friends are only reading about. I'm part of something bigger here. I'm proud to bleed red and black. So yeah, I know why. It's not a question, it's the answer. Youngstown State University. Know why.
Welcome back to JambarTV. I'm Zonde Smith, and this is your weekly weather outlook. Let's take a look at my 4-day forecast. Today, temps will reach 71 degrees with a 6% chance for rain. We will see some clouds with a cloud coverage at 32%. Tonight, that chance for rain is going to increase to 90%, and the temps will drop to 52 degrees. On Saturday, it will be cloudy with a high of 73 degrees. There is also a 55% chance for rain with thunderstorms in the morning. The chance for rain will reduce to 25% at night, with temps dropping to 80 degrees. On Sunday, it will be partly sunny with a 44% chance for rain and a possibility of scattered thunderstorms throughout the day. The cloud coverage will be 72% and temps will reach 81 degrees. At night, the low will be 58 degrees and chance for rain will decrease to 20%. On Monday, the high will be 85 degrees with partly sunny skies. There is a 40% chance for rain. We may see some thunderstorms in the evening, with the chance for rain increasing to 76% as we move into the night. The low will be 62 degrees. President Joe Biden marked Earth Day by unveiling billions of dollars in new grant funding for solar energy. This is the latest in a string of climate and conservation announcements that the Biden administration has made in recent days. Washington correspondent Michael Yoshida gives us a look at how these climate policies could play a factor in the 2024 election.
President Joe Biden celebrating Earth Day by announcing $7 billion in grant funding for solar power. The administration saying the money will allow nearly 1 million households in low-income and disadvantaged communities to benefit from solar power, saving more than $350 million in electric costs annually and more than $8 billion over the life of the program.
It's a big deal. This new Solar for All program means that 900,000 households, 900,000, will have solar on the rooftops for the first time and soon.
Biden's announcement comes days after his administration barred oil drilling in nearly half of the National Petroleum Reserve in Alaska, setting up a clear contrast with former President Donald Trump.
I want to drill, drill, drill.
During his push for a second term, Trump has spoken harshly of climate and conservation policies.
I will repeal Joe Biden's insane ethanol industry killing electric vehicle mandate.
Differing views that could play a role in a close election.
There's a clear contrast in this race.
Biden supporters hope highlighting his climate stance is one way to regain enthusiasm with young voters who were a key part of his 2020 win.
You've got to make sure folks understand that and hear that. That's why you run a campaign. That's why you'll see stark differences when it comes to combating climate change between the policies of President Biden and what Donald Trump has done in the past and wants to do in the future.
In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
That's all we have for weather this week, but stick around for Christopher Gillette with a student life update here in the studio.
All right, so who knows why?
I know why. For starters, I'm getting a top-tier education without the price tag. Can you say that? Engineering, sports, music, business. I can do anything here. I'm getting my hands dirty, learning what my friends are only reading about. I'm part of something bigger here. I'm proud to bleed red and black. So yeah, I know why. It's not a question, it's the answer. Youngstown State University. Know why.
Why Youngstown State University? Because when it comes to the skills you need to take your place in the world, we take a backseat to nobody. Youngstown State University. Now you know why.
Why Youngstown State University? Because I'm getting a top-tier education without the price tag. I can do anything here. I know why. It's not a question, it's the answer. Youngstown State University. Know why.
We know you hear it all the time. Why Youngstown State University? Why go to a school in the Mahoning Valley of northeastern Ohio, surprisingly beautiful as that may be? Why live on a campus that sits on the edge of the Rust Belt, historic and inspiring as that may be? In short, why choose Youngstown State? Here's why. Because when it comes to engineering, medicine, sports, business, and the skills you need to take your place in the future. We take a back seat to nobody because you can afford us, and we will afford you the opportunity to build the future you want and the life you desire. Why Youngstown State? Because we care about you, your success, and our future. Together. Youngstown State University. Now you know why.
Welcome back to our last JambarTV episode of the semester. I'm Christopher Gillette, and let's dive into the student life stories of the week. For LGBTQ students, it's very important to unite as a community. Events such as dances and banquets give students that opportunity. Jambar reporter Sydney Fairbanks attended one of those events to tell us more about it.
I'm here outside the Cove, where the YS Unity is hosting an Enchanted Forest-themed gala, not to be confused with a regular gala.
The organization decorated the Cove with green table runners, balloons, and leafy decor. All students alike were welcome to enjoy music, refreshments, and vote for 2 best-dressed attendees to walk down a red carpet. Senior Jenna Knowles, YS Unity's secretary and treasurer, said her organization took inspiration from others on campus holding similar events. The goal of the gala is to provide a safe space for LGBTQ students to celebrate or participate in a formal event.
It's just for us to get together and have an event that we can feel comfortable at and really express ourselves. You see a lot of different demographics coming together and having a dance just because it's a way to let loose, have fun, not have to worry about judgment. And that's what the gala is.
She said it's important for current and prospective students to know that they will be accepted for who they are on the YSU campus.
It does a good thing for the YSU community, for the community in general, to know that there is an active gay organization on campus, even for prospective students, because, you know, with everything going around, you don't really know if you're going to walk into a university and it's going to be accepting of you. But when you have events like this, it shows that, and when you are.
Senior social work major, Adrian Nelson, said that it is important for students to have a space to feel safe and make new connections.
You need a place where you feel comfortable and safe, and so this is some place where you can meet new people, feel comfortable, feel safe, talk to people, maybe get ideas.
The YS Unity will host a lavender graduation, commemorating graduating LGBTQ students from 1 to 3 p.m. on April 26th.
Reporting for the Jambar, I'm Sydney Fairbanks.
Me? Okay. Today we're diving into how to have fun near campus with our how-to guy, Alexa Radenovic. Take a look.
If you ever wondered how to make the most out of your time in this historic city, stick with me. We're stopping at one of the oldest local landmarks, Cassisi's MVR. Founded in 1927, this Italian restaurant next to Wick Deck isn't just famous for its cuisine, but also for its indoor bocce courts. Bocce is a classic lawn bowling game where players take turns rolling or throwing their balls, aiming to get the closest to a smaller target ball, called the Pallino.
Years ago, we were able to enclose the entire facility outside and really do a major project that allowed us to have bocce year-round. We're known as a place that they remember being at. They remember doing something with their family, and it's a pretty cool deal.
And just up the hill, west from the restaurant, lies the McDonough Museum of Art, a place where imagination flourishes through its display of contemporary art. I sat down with Dragana Cerniak, professor of art at YSU, to discuss emotions that art evokes in people.
It kind of blows my mind. I go to opening and I see that finished exhibition of a student who worked with me for years. And just seeing it finished on display and, you know, like taking your work from a studio in the context of that public space, it really does puts it in this social context. It becomes something, it changes and opens up to, you know, bigger questions. So I think all our questions are always like, you know, what it means to be human.
To learn more about these venues, visit the MVR's website at ysu.edu/McDonough Museum. This is Alexa Radenovic reporting for JambarTV.
Tired of studying for finals? The Division of Student Affairs is hosting Midnight Breakfast for all students Monday, April 29th. The event will offer food as well as a DJ. Joy Pacabla Byers, Associate Vice President for Student Experience, said that taking a break from studying is important.
Just that we encourage them, that we know the importance of taking breaks when you're studying, whether it's going for a walk or in this case going to get some extra food and be with some friends, actually can help you be more productive.
The event will take place from 10 p.m. to midnight. Be sure to enter at the Chick-fil-A entrance and have your YSU ID handy. The Youngstown community will gather for music, food, and fun for Federal Frenzy from 2 to 11 p.m. on April 27th in downtown Youngstown. The Music and Arts Festival will celebrate its 10th year. It will be hosted by Youngstown State University's Penguin Productions and held on East Federal Street in collaboration with Penguin City Brewery and Youngstown Flea. The festival will host over 40 vendors and 26 bands from across the 4 stages. Nashville-based indie rock band Bully will headline the YSU Penguin Productions main stage. Incoming Jambar editor-in-chief John Ostapowitz and outgoing JambarTV executive producer Dylan Lux will be live from Federal Frenzy to cover and highlight the performances. Many of you may have noticed the business Locally Print 3D making waves on social media. I visited its shop to learn more about its owner and his work. Locally Print 3D was founded by former YSU student Zachary Simon. Simon said he became interested in 3D printing through sci-fi.
3D printing has always been kind of like a futuristic science fiction type manufacturing process, and I always was interested in Star Wars. Not so much as Star Trek, but Star Trek has the fabricators and they press a button and something pops out of nothing, so that always kind of interested me.
Simon prints all sorts of knickknacks, many of which are inspired by the Youngstown area, such as miniatures of the Penguin fire hydrants on campus. Simon said he was interested in giving back to the Youngstown area. Simon's father is prominent in the local community through his work at Simcoe Management. Simon said his father's reputation in business has been an inspiration for him.
I've always tried to live up to his shoes, and the fact that this is taking off in this business of my own is kind of taking into effect now. It's making me happy because I feel like I'm actually proving myself worthy to him.
Simon is working to set up a website to sell his products, which he hopes to have up soon. For those interested in Simon's business, follow its Instagram. Reporting for JambarTV, one last time, I'm Christopher Gillette. That's all we have for your student life update this week, but stay tuned for Cameron Nemi and this week's sports stories when we come back.
All right, so who knows why?
I know why. For starters, I'm getting a top-tier education without the price tag. Can you say that? Engineering, sports, music, business. I can do anything here. I'm getting my hands dirty, learning what my friends are only reading about. I'm part of something bigger here. I'm proud to bleed red and black. So yeah, I know why. It's not a question. It's the answer. Youngstown State University. Know why.
Thanks for sticking with us as we wrap up the semester in today's season finale. For your sports update this week, I'm Cameron Nemi. Since the NCAA approved student athletes profiting off their name, image, and likeness in 2021, the transfer portal has seen an abundance of athletes entering the portal and transferring schools. Youngstown State University and thousands of other universities have felt the effects of the portal both positively and negatively. Youngstown State University Athletics has hired 3 new coaches over the last 2 months. Melissa Jackson was hired as the new women's basketball coach. Ethan Faulkner is taking over the men's basketball job, and volleyball has hired Riley Jarrett. All 3 new head coaches have been busy in the transfer portal looking for recruits. Faulkner has picked up his first recruit of the season this past week, Nico Gillette, a grad transfer from Sacred Heart, a guard who averaged 13 points and 7 rebounds last season. Anthony Romo, a senior telecommunications sports broadcasting major, has been the play-by-play broadcaster for volleyball, women's basketball, and softball for the last 2 years at YSU. He has seen firsthand several athletes at the school come in and out through the portal. Romo spoke about the NIL being a big part of bringing in recruits.
I think that NIL has had a very big impact with bringing transfers into Youngstown State University. Youngstown State has been huge with building up their own NIL collective, and we've been seeing that, especially in the men's basketball side of things over these past few years. They're really able to build these brand deals with a lot of athletes, let them come into the school. Guys like DJ Burns this past year was a big player for Youngstown State. He came in from Murray State, it was a huge get. And from top to bottom, DJ Burns, Brett Thompson, the list goes on.
The YSU football team has lost over 5 defensive players to the portal since the spring game on April 12th. Since then, the team has brought in lineman Mason Ludwig and defensive back Isaiah Hackett. The portal will close on May 1st for fall and winter sports. To stay updated on YSU sports and the portal players, visit ysusports.com. The YSU softball team has consistently been on the road. Despite the travel, the team sits atop the division. Jambar reporter Taziah Howard has more.
YSU softball team has played a plethora of road games. The team also sits atop the Horizon League.
The team has over 25 wins on the season with over 15 on the road. Sophomore catcher Kennedy Dean said recovery is important when traveling.
One thing that we make sure that we do is recover really well. Our trainer Sierra does a great job of taking care of us. She does treatments at the hotel, before games, after games. She does a great job of keeping us on the field. And then our coaches also really prioritize the things that we eat on the road, the days that we recover.
While Dean mentioned recovery playing a key role, senior teammate and pitcher Sophie Howe expressed the importance of energy when consistently on the road.
I would say that energy is one of the things that we've just preached on the team. I feel like last year it's kind of like easy to start losing energy during the middle of the season when you're on the road constantly, and I mean we play so many games, so it's easy to like let your energy get down. So I'd say we always try to keep good energy, and it's always hard as freshmen or even senior, you know, sometimes putting pressure on yourself. So we just preach to try to not have pressure on yourself, try to be confident in yourself at all times when you're out there, and then energy will come with those things. And
as the players expressed significant qualities for the season, Coach Brian Campbell also added another focus with energy and recovery.
Learning, I think, is probably the biggest thing, and the reason I say learning is we got a good mixture of upperclassmen and underclassmen, so I think that's probably the biggest thing is the learning process. You know, the upperclassmen teaching and underclassmen learning what's being taught.
The team will continue play for the remainder of April and into the month of May. Reporting for the Jambar, I'm Taziah Howard.
That's all for this week's sports update. Now here's Zonde Smith with your weather recap.
There will be scattered storms throughout the weekend, so be sure to soak up the sun and those warm 80-degree temps while you can. That's all we have for Jambar TV this week. Now help us say goodbye to our graduating seniors and this year's senior send-off.
Andrew Peter, are you recording?
My name is Cheyenne Gibbons, and I am a line producer for Jambar TV.
Oh, y'all started?
Yeah.
Hey, you starting?
You starting?
Tuesday.
Never thought it would be you, huh? You've been here for a long time.
That's why I asked. I wanted to finally have the closure.
This is the closure.
Yay! Former editor-in-chief, former executive producer,
That's
former
another
managing
question.
editor.
Can you say to talk? Talk? Wait, you want us to be quiet?
I'm sorry, Caleb.
Chris, did you know I rated yours?
Oh my God, is that
He was right there. He was palming his fist. That's why he was.
I got you, Chris.
All right, Caleb. This is it, big dog.
All right, I'm ready. I'm locked in, man. Ask me the Jambar song first.
No.
Dun, 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 dun.
Former MMJ.
When did you get started at Jambar TV?
When did I get started?
So I officially started at Jambar a little bit later than most people start. I want to say I got started spring or fall of 2022. So I officially, came to the office, filled out an application for everything. And I did originally get hired as a multimedia journalist, but I was really lousy at it. So I quickly transitioned over to TV, and I just kind of started as a line producer, and I've had fun doing that.
I've been a little bit on and off since my freshman year because sports always took a lot of time, but I always loved being part of the Jambar family. So just depending on what kind of classes I was taking over each semester, I always tried my best to like be part of this amazing paper and like submit stories from classes or working my way like through swim and my classes. But yeah, I was like fully at the Jambar my freshman year, and then now I'm back at it like when I'm retired from swimming.
Ooh, great question. I started working at the Jambar in the spring of 22. Does that sound right? Yeah, I think so. That doesn't sound right?
So when did you get started at the Jambar? Back in 1950, whatever.
So yeah, I actually created the Jambar with Burke Leiden back in 1931. I've been here that long.
I got started at JambarTV during my class of journalism workshop. I think it was spring 2022, and then I officially it was spring 2021, and then it was fall 2022 when I officially joined.
Oh.
Well, what time? First time or second time? Because I quit in between.
I actually got involved with the Jambar my freshman year in college. It was fall 2019, which feels like 10 years ago at this point. It was pre-pandemic. It was my first real semester before the pandemic, and I got brought on as some kind of a volunteer production assistant. I had run into Mary Beth Earnhardt on the streets of Youngstown, ironically, and I said that I was a journalism student. I wanted to get involved. I missed the morning announcements at my high school, and she was like, just walk in, they'll give you a job. So I just walked in and they gave me a job. Hired that day.
I started spring of 2022.
I think the first time when I transferred here, so I don't know. First year I transferred here, and then I quit.
What was that year?
18, I graduated high school. I want to say 20. 20, 2021, one of them, and then I quit in the middle of the semester. Yeah, I was cool on it after one semester.
And then you came back.
Yeah, Kyle Wills convinced me to come back, and then Shy convinced me, and then Dylan convinced me, and after that, it was a wrap.
Spring of 23. Thank you, John. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
Welcome, brother. So what positions have you held in total?
Yeah, so in total, I think it's really just been that. It's been multimedia journalist for the paper, line producer for TV, and then I've been on-screen talent a few times for a few episodes. I've done the little replay operation thing, even though it's kind of just being paid to sit there. But yeah, nothing too crazy. And then in addition to top of all that, I am the executive producer of Penguin Rundown, and I've wrote stories, I've operated equipment, I've done pretty much every role you can think of for Rundown.
That's worth mentioning, Caleb.
All of them.
I always hold the position of being a reporter. Mm-hmm.
This is going to be like that Alabama, Alaska. It's going to be like...
Started out as an MMJ, just a basic reporter. Then I moved up to assistant news editor for like a month. And then I became news editor proper. This was over fall of 22. And then spring or fall of 23, I started to be web manager proper. I think that's basically it. I've done anchoring. Yeah, anchoring. I forgot about that. Anchoring as well, which I started in spring of 24. I've done anchoring for both news and student life.
Penguin Rundown, God rest its soul.
It's gone now.
So I've been head copy editor, I have been a reporter / MMJ, I have been the editor-in-chief at the Jambar, I have been the executive producer at the Jambar. With both of those positions, I have also both been the news director and then the managing editor of the Jambar. And then on top of it, I've been an assistant producer for JTV. I have been a floor director for JTV. I have done teleprompter for JTV. I have also done some directing and technical directing and some graphics on top of all of that, depending on when I was just starting out. Whatever they needed filled is what I would do. And then I was a production assistant as well.
You also anchored.
And I have also anchored.
Where are you going?
So I just had sports reporter, general sports reporter, and sports editor. Shout out John for promoting me to assistant sports editor.
Started as an MMJ and then a line producer where I was the weather anchor. And then I became executive producer and managing editor. And then I became editor-in-chief. And now I am just a line producer.
Floor director and technical director.
That's it?
think. Yeah. No, camera operator like my very first year.
So why and how did you get involved with Jambar?
So I just I obviously enjoy sports. So I wanted to attend games more, and I wanted to get involved with stuff on campus. So I found out about the Jambar and would see it around on campus, and then eventually I talked to Mary Beth, and I was like, hey, are you guys hiring at the Jambar? I would like to start writing about sports. And she was like, yeah. So I applied, and they gave me the job.
The rest is history.
I started because all my friends that I've been in classes with, my all 4 years here, they just were talking about how fun it was at the office and how exciting it was, getting involved with all these cool groups on campus and everything that's happening. So it was easy being influenced to join too.
I got involved because, well, this is still pre-pandemic, but I just wanted to meet people. I felt like I knew a couple people from high school, and I still felt disconnected from them. I didn't have a really good, stable friend group. And at the time I was in marching band, and I still didn't feel like I had a really stable friend group. And I was like, well, maybe if I can't make friends, I can make coworkers. So the idea was that if I get started at the Jambar, I could make an income and also meet people, learn what it's like to be a professional or some sort of a professional in a college setting, of course. And the end result was actually I did make friends, which was what I had wanted in the long run.
Oh boy. So I'm not a journalism major unlike everyone else here. I'm actually a history major, but I was interested in journalism through kind of my interest in history and I guess current events. So I was interested in going to journalism. I didn't want to necessarily be a professor or a teacher or anything like that. So I ended up applying. I think, kind of feigning some interest with Mary Beth Earnhardt in fall of 21, but she said, oh, we hire in the spring or something. So next spring, I'm like, oh, can I join? And so I kind of joined in the middle of the spring semester. I think it was my first story came out February of 22.
Well, which time? The first time or my second stint?
Both times.
We'll start with second because I really don't care about the first.
I got involved because Michelle Gatz was my professor for that class that I was in, and she encouraged me to really get a part of it. And so I felt really supported in joining, and I also really wanted the experience in reporting and doing things on my own and just preparing myself for after graduation.
I kind of got involved mainly because a lot of people I knew from classes and my friends were in it. And what really kind of put it in perspective was a class I had with Lisa Johnson, where she was like, hey, in order to really make it, you need some kind of portfolio, you need a kind of proof of work of, what you're capable of in the business. And so I figured Jambar was a great way to build that portfolio, make a lot more connections, and just have fun outside of classes.
Resume builder?
Kyle Wills convinced me because I worked with him a lot on Penguin Rundown. I had a lot of classes with him. So he said, why don't you come back, help me out? So I was like, yeah, I'll come back, help you. And originally after that, after when he first convinced me, I was like, yeah, when he leaves, I'm done. And then I met Shy, and then she convinced me, and then Dylan convinced me. And then after that, it's just been a bowling roll, if you say that. I don't know how to say the word. A ball rolling, yeah.
Let's go with your favorite memory from JTV or the Jambar. You can do both, either or.
I'm going to have to do both.
Give me a second to think about this.
I have a lot of them. In a previous interview, we were talking about John's quotes. I'll say this. I remember the night that John yelled, "Don't deep fry my dog," to Maddie. That has to be a good one.
Excellent quote.
Okay, so you know how Dan's always preaching, or even Paul's always preaching, don't put drinks by the board or whatever. So Dan's sitting right next to me, right? He's going to put his water right by the floor and kick his water over. No, water goes all up.
Come on in. Drew, I know what you're talking about.
I'm doing an interview, y'all.
I've enjoyed coming in here and editing stuff, and it gave me a place to interact with people and improve my writing and joke around.
So Dan, not paying attention, he kicks over the water bottle in the middle of the show, as if I'm not trying. I don't pay attention, but I try to pay attention a little bit. Kicks over water, had me laughing the whole show. Wilson was on me about Andrew, pay attention. I couldn't help it. It was probably one of the best memories in JambarTV history.
My favorite memory?
So my favorite memory from JTV goes back to when we had done the Kyle TV episode. This is when I was executive producer, and my assistant producer at the time was Kyle Wills. We love Kyle Wills here. But I ended up having to direct one of the segments for Kyle TV because it was all Kyle, obviously. But Kyle had to be on air for something, and we were extremely late staffed, and I had to direct. I just touched my mic, I'm so sorry.
I do, yeah. I think just like the story meetings and just like talking about like the big stuff that's going on every week. I think that's my favorite memory, just like overall, just if something exciting or big is going on, just having those like crazy conversations.
There was that one time Dan said,
I ended up having to direct that segment, be the technical director for that segment, and Kyle had to be out on the floor by himself and do the entire skit, and he was doing basically the sit down for the burrito package. And when he was finished, we just kind of let it keep rolling and recording because I didn't know how to turn it off for some reason. I didn't know how to stop recording, and I was like kind of panicked about if it went well, how he felt about it. And he stood up mid-segment. I took to 4 so that we would know when to end, camera shot 1 to end the package, basically. And all you could see on the recording was Kyle stood up, and he's just like mumbling at himself. He's mad at himself for some unknown reason. I don't know why. And he gets caught on the chair, and the mic packs are caught on the chairs, and he's like ripping at the mics to get them off. He's cussing at himself. He's cussing at the mic packs.
Is there footage of this
There
anywhere?
is. We have some of the footage of it in the package after the burrito package on JTV, where he was like, I'm stuck, and he's like ripping at it.
Then there was the time, Dan.
And also like when we had a visit actually at WKPN, that was really cool.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually my favorite memory. That was so cool.
I would say it was really early on. I think it was like freshman year, doing Penguin Rundown. I was operating the teleprompter. Kelsey Norris was reading some golf story, and Kyle tripped on a wire behind the camera. And you can see, is either Kelsey or Monica, it's one of the two. You can tell that they saw it happen behind the camera, but they didn't want to stop reading. And then Kyle just happened to make eye contact with them, and then all HE double hockey sticks broke loose. It was just pandemonium in the studio and in the control room.
Did that ever get posted?
I don't think so. I think we stopped recording and just redid the take, but...
That would have been hilarious, and I would love to see that. You mean
I can tell you my least favorite memories. That's for sure.
There's been a lot of them. I have a few. So I would say definitely Columbus. That was a great trip.
That's true, yeah.
Me, John, Dylan, Cheyenne, Drew. That was a great time. Being down on the field, doing the pregame show. And then I would also say just being in the office, with the boys and just with everybody else, editing nights. So it's probably the best times. We got a lot of funny moments doing that. So.
Oh yeah.
My favorite memory. Meeting you.
My spring semester when I was editor-in-chief, and we had brought on a couple new people, and I needed to get them trained. And I was like super hectic about it because I really am big on like making sure everybody knows what they're doing. I've always been like that. And we brought on a new sports reporter, and I really was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to train a sports reporter because I didn't know like when your time would work out, Dylan, or like when John's time would work out. And I figured I needed to teach him the basics. So I invited Cameron Nemi into the office so I could like talk to him about like, how to like clean up the stories a little bit better, how to work with him. And it was the first day of spring classes, and then Ward Beecher caught on fire. And so then Kyle Wills, who had just graduated, ended up training Nemi for some unknown reason. He was here, and I had to go report on a fire. So I'm sorry, Cameron.
Do you have a favorite story that you wrote, like any that's like stuck with you?
Yeah, I would say like definitely my like senior capstone project that was published on Jambar. Yeah, with the senior project, like many journalist majors know, like you can choose your topic, and I chose how the menstrual cycle affects female athletes, and it was just a really interesting process of interviewing top class scientists on an international level.
One of the first favorite memories stories I've covered was in fall of 22 with Betty Elizabeth Koss, I'll say the full name. Sorry, Betty.
The government named me.
Basically, we went to this event in the Chestnut Room at night called the Simeon Booker Awards, where a man named Anthony Ray Hinton, who had been essentially, he was an innocent man who had been in prison for 30 years. I don't think he was on death row. I don't think but he was he definitely locked away, as an innocent man who had been locked away in prison for 30 years. He got an award, and basically Betty and I got to interview him for a bit. I'll admit it was kind of interesting being starstruck. The only question I could think of was, oh, what was it like? What did you think of the movie about you?
I would say, wow, Phantom's Hockey. No, I'm just kidding.
Probably one of the best ones I did, and this was edited by Dylan, of course, the Bertie Ahern story in fall of 23. One of the for basically a former Irish head of government came to the university to get an award, and there were like essentially 3 days of events that I went to basically all of them. It was fun, it was hell, but it was incredible and an incredible opportunity I'll never forget.
The pre-coverage, the coverage, and the post-coverage.
Yeah, there was 3 stories that came out of that.
I've written so many stories. Do you know how many stories I've written since I've been here?
Well, you've been here for 5 years, so probably more
A heck of a lot.
At least 3.
Yeah. I've probably written 2, I gotta say.
I would say probably the Ohio State. It was like that, and the Valparaiso game. And then I also enjoyed the Pro Day one was a fun one to write. And then I would just say the playoff game, victory against Duquesne, because that was the first playoff win since 16, so.
For sure.
I think the one that was most impactful to me was I had the opportunity to cover Diwali, depending on how you say it, but it's a Hindu celebration of lights. It's a really warm, welcoming environment. And I was there to report it. You know, I show up all professional and everything like that. And everybody was just so nice to me and so polite to me. And I had so many interviews by the end of the night. That student association that organized that entire thing was so lovely to work with. I mean, they had offered me food and stuff like that, and I had, said no, and then they were like, but please, but I had said no. But like, they just really wanted me to be a part of it more than anything, and I think that was so beautiful. And, I had stuck around for the entire ceremony, of course, and throughout all of it, they were like, did you enjoy this? Like, what did you think of this? Like, how did you feel of this? They were so wanting to receive like what I had thought about it. And to me, that was like beyond me. Like, I was like an outsider to that type of the culture. And that's why I partially wanted to cover it, is because we have such a large international student body, and a lot of them do celebrate Holi and celebrate Diwali and all of those.
You know the JTV theme song?
Yes, I do. I've been practicing. I think. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that was good. That was good.
I don't know the actual title of it. I'm assuming there is one. But it goes like dun 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 dun, and then a voiceover from God comes in. And he's
God
like,
being Reagan or Scott or Matt.
yeah, this week on JambarTV, and then that's it. You get into the show.
Give me your best Paul Ditchy impression.
My best Ditchy impression. I should know. I've had plenty of classes with him. I'll just do one of my favorite stories of him. Did I ever tell you about the time that I had lunch with Lex Luger? It was crazy. He came into the set late because he misread his schedule, so he did a run-in at the main event. And I guess the titles back then, they had real nuts and bolts to them, because he took a shot to the head and it cut him open for real. Anyway, Channel 8 in Cleveland. That's pretty much all. That's when I stopped listening.
I haven't seen Paul Ditchy in a while.
Oh my God, you know what he's like.
There's the slouch. So what did you do that for? That was bad.
I'm gonna be honest, no, it's bad.
You gotta do it. You gotta give it at least a try.
Is that recording or tape? Is that one? I don't know. I don't know. Is it film or tape?
You know how to rap a chord?
What was your favorite reel with the Jambar movie?
Well, number one has to be the one I came up with about the Bee movie, of course. Like, according to all known laws of aviation,
Absolutely.
like, the joke just kind of came in my head. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that was a joke. That's still a joke. So like, why don't we do that?
It was good.
What else? I liked a lot of them are funny. I like the one of everyone like essentially getting a reaction of Gavin going up, "Who are you? Why are you at JambarTV?"
That was a good one. I loved making that one.
I also liked this was a short one, but it was sweet, of Gavin asking you what's going on with JambarTV, and you just turn and scream. And then I think your friend Garrett commented, "Me when I wake up," under it.
I think the ones that you guys make, I think is definitely the one where you guys showed up at the rec and you were doing the basketball thing and just like talking while you were like tripping the ball. I thought that was like really hilarious.
That seems to be the consensus. That one was the best one.
And you should definitely keep those coming.
It's no longer up anymore. But the reason I liked that reel so much is because you guys had like the, "Hi, I'm Matt Sautler." And then it like cuts to like a sports bar for like the soccer game, and everybody just cheers for Matt Sautler. I love that.
Yep, so did he, trust me.
I love Matt Sautler.
You know, I'd want to say the one with me in it, because, you know, and the Peter Griffin meme, but I'm gonna give my top 3. That's gonna be 3. Chris's is gonna be 2. That's 2 for me. Shout out Chris. And then 1's got to be the basketball video. That was a banger. That was a banger.
What's your favorite Cameron Nemi quote?
Cameron Nemi quote. I knew the flame was rekindled.
Favorite John Ostavo's quote?
Oh, man. He's going to make me say it.
You gotta say it.
I guess I am done after this, so.
Who was your favorite producer this entire time you were here? No question.
Since he's not here right now, I'll say Kyle Wills.
I knew you would do it. I knew you would do it.
You know, I got, yeah, Kyle, because Shy's here and Dylan's here, so I have to, they can't be a part of it, so I'll stick with Kyle.
What has John said? I'm trying to think of other ones besides the main one I'm thinking of.
What's the main one you're thinking of?
Oh. One of my all-time favorites is John one time said to me, "Do not apologize for being creative."
Oh, that's cute. You're
Remember
supposed to be funny with it. You were cute about it.
And then, of course, there's 2 sides to a penny, which will forever go down in history in my brain.
How do I get into a Darable Dog match?
You get into it, there's plenty of ways to get into it. You can either go to a real professional school, or you can just set up a trampoline in your backyard with some of your buddies and say, "Oh yeah, I can work, I'm a wrestler." But yeah, you can catch Darable Dog at AIW up in Cleveland and Akron, catch them at 880 Wrestling over in New Kensington, or, you know, wherever a city needs saving, the Darable Dog will appear.
Perfect. Because I know you do media work for Darable Dog.
I do, yeah. I'm his publicist, his everything, more or less.
Do you enjoy working with him? Is he a good guy?
Yeah, he's great. You know, obviously, fighting crime is a little bit more important than someone like me. But you know what? I help out any way I can. I'm glad I am able to help him out.
You're a good man. You're the man in the chair.
I try to be.
Did you know that bees don't care what humans think is impossible?
Yeah, I did know that.
What are your after graduation plans?
Just find a job. That's key. Maybe stick around the area for a little bit. Work locally, make some money, move out of the apartment, and hopefully move up to Cleveland. That'd be ideal. Work for a team up there.
So after graduation, I plan on becoming a full-time MMJ at WKBN 27 First News and 33 WYTV News and My Fox Youngstown and My YTV.
Were you paid to say that?
Yes. But I might go back and get my graduate. We'll see.
That or move to Florida. Florida, where it's warm. Cleveland or Florida. It's top 2.
So my after graduation plans will have to take another year.
So after graduation, I will be moving back home to Iceland. And I actually just recently got a job offer with one of the biggest newspapers in Iceland. It's called MBL, or the morning paper. And they've been operating since like the 1900s. And so they have a long history. And I think I'm not saying it wrong. Like they've been, operating since 19 something. And like before the 1930s at least, and it's just super exciting. And it was a surprise. It was a really sweet surprise.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Thanks.
What's your plan right now?
Plan on getting a job at a TV station, whether it's here or in a bigger market.
I have been here 5 years. I am still stuck in that rotation of having to take classes, of course. But I kind of already have jump-started my plans a whole year in advance, though. Well, technically a year behind, however you feel about it. But I jump-started those plans. I took a job opportunity at a nonprofit called Oak Hill Collaborative. They have been incredibly wonderful and welcoming to me, and what they do is digital literacy and education for the community. And a lot of times what they do is with the anxieties that come with working with technology, they try to not only like reduce that anxiety and help people feel comfortable with maybe areas that they're not comfortable with.
So after graduation, so what I have lined up right now is in June, I'll officially begin my Disney College program. So I'll be going down to Orlando. I'll be working in Disney World. Don't know my exact job yet, but I'm really hoping to either be a PhotoPass photographer, working in attractions, ride operator, stuff like that. And then simultaneously doing that, I will be all over the world, making my name known as an international superstar, with everybody saying, listen. Yeah.
I love it.
Find some kind of job somewhere. I have options. I'm going to try in a local area, but I'm also not from Ohio, so I have options in Arizona, funnily enough, which is where I'm from, so I could try out there if things don't work out here. And that's kind of what I'm going to be doing. Probably, I'm also, tidying up and all that, getting my stuff in order and all that.
Andrew Peterson.
My name is Cheyenne Gibbons.
My name is Cameron Nemi.
My name is Caleb Ellison.
My name is Christopher Gillette.
My name is Hilda Baldersdottir.
My name is Betty Koss.
Oh, thank you to our executive producer, Dylan Lux, for making that amazing video. Now I'm joined by our departing staff who have a few words that they want to say before they go.
I just want to say I'm blessed to meet everybody here, and we'll all be lifelong friends.
I just wanted to say thank you guys for giving me the best semesters, and I'm going to miss all you guys.
I just want to say, Jambar, thank you so much for everything. You really were the dream team, and this is not a final goodbye.
First, I want to say that congratulations and good luck to Dylan Lux. He's not out here, but this is his last show, so we all congratulate you on your next journey. Then I want to say graduation is a little nerve-wracking for me, but I was scared to come to college, and I met all of you, so to new journeys.
I guess I want to say it's been wonderful to be able to be here. Great opportunity these last 2 years have been. Shout out to everyone who's helped me through this time, getting better here. Shout out to everyone here, and shout out to Cam as well, who couldn't be here with us, but shout out to him, Cameron Nemi as well.
I mean, I guess I just really wanted to say thank you, especially to Dylan Lux, who wanted me to be a part of the goodbyes. I had wanted to be a part of the goodbyes. While I'm not a graduating senior like everybody else, I am just choosing to depart from the Jambar for a lot of personal reasons. And I'm excited for the new chapter that my life will have. And I'm excited to still keep everybody still in my life in a lot of different ways. I'm really excited to be working with the community, and I hope that through that mission I can still really work very closely with a lot of news organizations still too. So I really just really wanted to thank you, Dylan. Thank you for giving me this closure that I often have been the person to grant to other people.
And while we all have thanked each other, we can't do this without the people at home. So whether you watch us on your TV, on your cell phone, on your laptop, wherever you watch us, we want to thank you for your support of the Jambar, both in online formats and in print. We couldn't be here without you. And for everybody at the Jambar, stay safe and have a great weekend.
Support for Jambar TV is provided in part by the YSU Foundation and the Jane F. Lamb Charitable Foundation. Thank you.